Slower.
Hello, Slay.
Did you have any trouble getting on?
No, I just slept in. I just kept sleeping through 9 o'clock.
No. I mean, what link did you use? The one I sent this morning or the old one?
The one you sent this morning.
Okay. Because I don't know, I got this thing like Friday that said Zoom is changing as of May 9th. I mean, they couldn't have waited till school year was over, and that now people would need passwords to get on. But then it just said, if you have a meeting already scheduled, just send an updated link. So that's what I did.
Is that any different than what it was before, though?
But you never had to enter a password, did you?
No, but if you like joined one like with the code, then you would have to. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what's, I just hope everybody can get on. So I don't need this on a Monday morning. Where? Okay, I can't find my dry erase board. Oh, here it is. Okay. Only one more week, Shawnee.
I know. It doesn't feel like it, though.
Can you see this if I do this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know. And well, I mean, we have to work with some kids for a couple weeks after that, but I have very few kids that are in that situation. So
I have 2 missing worksheets. Can I just email those to you after this?
What I'm telling kids is some kids are emailing me and saying, can I make work up from January? And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what this is intended to be with this extra 2 weeks. I think it's for kids that are failing, or like I would have to give an incomplete to. But I'm going to tell kids that you can turn in anything you missed from the whole time of distance learning. Okay? If it's like super old, I may give you half credit, but if it's within the last couple of weeks, I'll just give you full credit.
Cool.
I'm being nice. I don't know. Good morning, Fielding. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I have a little bit of a headache this morning. I don't know. It's all right. I'm good. Now, did you use the link I sent this morning, or did you just go to your calendar and use the link?
I used the link you sent this morning.
Okay. Because I know that there are kids that just do not. One kid emailed me last night at like, I don't know what time. I got the email this morning. And he's like, I didn't know we had a quiz on whatever day that was, Thursday. He's like, and I had sent an email Friday to the kids that I didn't get it from. So he clearly never looks at his, didn't look at his email till Sunday, but oh well. We're almost there. Last lap. We got this. You look tired, Fielding.
Yeah, I kind of got out of bed like 20 minutes ago.
That's all right. That's all right. All I know is I laugh when I wake up in the morning and I have homeworks that were submitted at like 2:14 a.m. Like, oh my gosh. That's so funny. So funny. So I was just reading by Mr. Beach, who's like the dean of teachers, like oversees the teachers, kind of sends out this monthly, or I don't know, every couple weeks, this newsletter. And there's a lot of new teachers next year. It's a lot of people, a lot of old timers retiring, a lot of new teachers coming in.
Who's all retiring? Like I know Howard is because Pecco is looking for people to sit through a lesson. For
Yeah. Well,
candidates.
Mr. Antonelli decided to.
Oh, really?
He's going to be teaching part-time next year. So he's going. Mr. Becker from math is leaving. Mrs. Kyle, I think, is leaving. Miss Piatek, I know that because she just sent a goodbye thing. I think Mr. Barron, Mr. Cooney in, science.
All right.
Old timers. So there's a lot of new teachers. Good morning, Dom.
Good morning, Mrs. A.
Did you log on with the new email or with the old link?
Oh, the new one.
Okay. Fantech, you're here. How come you're making this one today?
It's always Wednesday because Mr. Pecco sets up his own meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Good to see you. And did you log on with the new email or?
New one.
Okay. I'm going to be interested to see if kids are trying just to go to their Google Calendar and if they're going to need to put in, I don't know. We just got a thing on Thursday or Friday saying that as of May 9th, you're going to need a password to enter a meeting. But it's only for certain levels of Zoom, like basic and free. Like Zoom offered Zoom for free for a certain length of time because of this whole virus thing. But the school, I think, purchased Zoom, so maybe we're not affected. I don't know. I just sent a new one to be safe. Connor Gistel, did you use the new email or the old link?
I used the new email.
Okay. Is that Grieber? Morning. Jimmy Slythe, is that blonde hair?
Yeah, I bleached it.
Woo! Look at you. I'm gonna turn you into Mr. Franzinger. Nah. Cool. There's Gavin. Gavin, you look the same every time. Is this
Really?
like a recording you did and you're just popping the recording on or something? No. Good. Morning, Aiden.
Morning.
Morning, Charlie.
Morning.
Morning. I hear Mr. A in the other room on his Zoom. Fortunately, we have a door. He's actually out in the laundry room. We have a little office next to our laundry room, and we're redoing it, so his desk is now in the laundry room. But we have a door that we can shut at least, so I don't have to listen to him too loudly. Good morning, Bitson.
Good morning.
Cinque Terre? Is that where you're at?
What was that?
You're at the Cinque Terre, Porto Venere in Italy?
To be honest, I don't quite remember.
That's what it looks
I
like.
had another teacher who wanted me to be here. And so
I was there. It was fabulous. If that's the Cinque Terre. That's cool. Will Carroll, good
probably
morning.
figure that out.
Good morning, Evan Jennings.
Good morning.
All right. So did everybody get on using the new email I sent? Yes? Okay.
Yes, it's still required a password.
What's that, Alex? You broke
It's
up.
still required. It still required a password, but
Oh, it did? It asked you for a password?
It didn't for
Okay.
me.
Not for me either.
Yeah, I didn't need one.
I don't know what it's doing, but at least you guys are getting on. All right, well, I don't know who else is coming on, so I just kind of want to give you a heads up for the week and go over one problem that a lot of kids seem to be having difficulty on the homework that was due. Uh-oh, what did I do? Here it is. Homework that was due today. It's actually due today. Morning, Tommy.
Morning.
Where's your brother?
I don't know. He says he's joining right now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so anyway, this week, here's the plan. We're not going to quite get through everything I would have finished in this chapter, but that's okay. We're getting through a lot of the important things. So there's a video today and tomorrow. Yes, the one tomorrow is real short. It's like 4 or 5 minutes on geometric sequences, which is the next thing that we're covering. So we're going to do that for 2 days. Oh, I know what it is. There's a video today and a worksheet introducing geometric sequences. Then there's another worksheet tomorrow that does some more on geometric sequences, but then it kind of mixes up arithmetic and geometric. And I don't know if you're going to be able to do all the problems on the back sheet. I'm going to have to look at it. I'm giving you 2 days to work on that. So the worksheet from Tuesday, you can, however much you want to do. Wednesday's assignment is to finish up Tuesday's homework. Okay, so you actually get 2 days to work on that. Thursday is going to be a quest on arithmetic and geometric sequences and series. I'm probably going to just let you use your notes on it. Does that sound fair? That's going to be due. Now, help me again. What AP exam is today? Is this the government one today?
Yeah, Gov's too.
The AP Gov, which is why I'm not seeing a whole lot of juniors, I don't think. Okay, and then Friday is A-Push, am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving this quest on Thursday, but I understand that you A-Push kids might be preoccupied with prepping for A-Push, and then clearly you have to take it on Friday. So I think I'm giving a due time for the quiz, that quest, like Sunday at, I don't know, 3 o'clock or something. Does that sound reasonable to you A-Push guys? I would have even extended it longer, but we have to have all our grades updated by Monday morning. So I really can't push it off any more than that. I mean, if you have, you know, if there's a special circumstance or something, just email me, but I really need to get those Sundays so I can grade them and get them in Power School by Monday morning. Because Monday morning, you know, you guys are done Friday, but Monday morning, the administrators are going to look at all the grades and reach out to kids that are getting an incomplete or a failing grade, which I don't think that applies to, I know that doesn't apply to any of you guys, and then reach out with the plan for them. So we have to update our grade books by then. So does that make sense? So video today, it's about 15 minutes and a worksheet. Short video tomorrow, just on one kind of problem. And then you can, what was I gonna say? Have 2 days to work on Tuesday's worksheet, and then Thursday is a quest. So on Wednesday's Zoom, which I will probably be sending you a new link for again by email, because I don't know how this whole thing with passwords and all that's working. I will just resend the link with the passwords if you have to put them in. I'll resend that. So Wednesday you can answer, ask me any questions or whatever. I don't really have a review for you for the quest, but I'm going to let you use your notes on it. So I think if you've been doing what you need to do and you've been following, following along the note sheets that I give. Oh, there is a note sheet that goes along with today's video. You should see it above the video on the class page, note sheet for this. So make sure you have that printed out if you can and follow along on it with the video today. Does that make sense? Okay, now there was one problem that I want to go over before you guys start on geometric series. This was one of the ones, a lot of kids were missing these or just put question marks by them. It was number 3 and 4 from the homework that is due today. And this was the problem. And your directions said, oh, you have to find the sum of this series, okay? Now, if you remember the formula, this was the whole Gauss thing, how he came up with the formula. The formula for the sum of an arithmetic series is n times a sub 1 plus a sub n all over 2. So basically, to find the sum of a arithmetic series, you need to know the first term, you need to know a sub n or the nth term or the last term that you're adding up, and you need to know the number of terms. Now, what is it here? We know a sub 1 is 10, so we got that. We know the last term, a sub n, is negative 47. What is it that we don't know in this problem? Anybody want to unmute themselves and answer? What is it we don't know?
N.
Right, we don't know how many terms there are. It's like a dot, dot, dot in there. I don't know, are there 12 terms in between there? So the first thing we have to do is we have to find n. So before we can use this formula, oh, you know what? You guys should remind me to make myself spotlighted so this is bigger for you when I'm doing this. Okay, come on, come on. Okay, so now I'm bigger and you can see this. So the first thing we have to do is to find n. And to find n, this is the part that I think people just forgot about or didn't know what to do. You have to use your formula, a sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1, or n minus 1 times d. So I know that the first term is 10. I can tell from the sequence that d is negative 3. I don't know n, that's what I'm looking for. And I know that the term I'm looking to find n for, the nth term, is negative 47. Does that make sense? So you have to do one problem before you can actually find the sum. So if I solve this for n, what am I going to get? 10 minus 3n plus 3. 10 plus 3 is 13. So if I add negative 13 to both sides, I get negative 60 is negative 3n, so n is 20. So now that I know that n is 20, I can go back and plug it into my s sub n equals 20 times the first term plus the last term all over 2. Now, I'm just going to do that by 10, so I'm going to get 10 times negative 37. 10 plus negative 47 is negative 37, and then my sum is negative 370. So in those problems, you had to find the n first. I was getting all kind of wacky things. I was getting kids that were getting quadratics for this and all kinds of things, but you just have to find the n first, and then you have everything. You've got the n, a1, a sub n, and you can plug it in your formula. Does that make sense? Okay. Does anybody have any other questions on what's going on this week, or what or any questions on the homework, I guess I should ask.
Can you go over number 7?
Yeah, question?
Can you go over number 7?
Yes, I will go over number 7. That was a tricky one, and I'm glad you asked about that. And FYI, a couple people had reached out and said, I'm having trouble with this, so I'm going to post the answers to these later on today. One kid asked if I could, post it. I sent him the answer key, but I'm going to post it later after it's due. But yeah, I can do number 7, which is this. I'm taking these from the homework that's actually due today, number 58, Sums of Finite Arithmetic Series 2. This is N. Okay, so this is the problem. And the directions are, you have to find n. So this one's a little tricky because I is not starting at 1. So basically, the best thing to do in one like this is to start generating just so you see what's going on, start generating the terms of the sequence. So if I were to write, or this series, if I were to write this series out, you're starting with I equals 5. So if I put 5 in, 3 times 5 is 15 plus 7, I would get 22. Plus, I would get, the next term would be 6. So 18, it would be 25. And then you can tell that this is 3i plus 7. That's the slope. So then it would be 28 plus ... And I want to know how many terms you have to get to before the sum equals 217. So I'm going to go back and use my formula for the sum of the series. I'm going to need some more room here. And that is n, which I don't know. And I can't find it the way I just found it because I don't know what the last term is. So I can't find n. Okay, but I do know that the sum is A1, the first term. Now, the first term is 22. Now, the problem is I don't know what the last term is in the series, but I'm going to call it A sub n, so it's just going to be 7 plus 3n, whatever that n is. Does that make sense? So this is where you can't put in a number, you have to put in an expression for the nth term. Okay? So we're readjusting really and making this the first term, and this, so n, this is where I was telling you last week, n is not always the same as I. We're putting in 5 for I to generate the first term and 6, but this is really A sub 1, A sub 2, etc. So now I'm going to substitute in my 217 because I know the sum. So now I just have to solve this. So I'm going to get 217 equals n times, well, you know what? So I don't have to put the 2. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2 and get 434 over here. And then that 2 is gone. So I'm going to have n times 3n plus 29. Are you okay? Unmute yourself and ask if I'm going too fast and you're not figuring out what I'm doing here. We okay so far? Okay. So now I'm going to do 434 equals Thank you. Oh boy. Okay, so I looked at this quadratic and said, as much as I like factoring, I'm not going to try to factor that. And I used the quadratic formula. So, you know, I used opposite of B, negative 29 plus or minus. And I did the plus because I figured if you have negative 29 and you do a minus, you're going to get a negative answer and the number of terms can't be negative. So I used the negative 29 plus square root of 29 squared minus da, da, and I came out with n is 7 when I used the quadratic formula. So that means that you'd have to go out to the 7th term before you got the sum to be 217. Now that one, in all honesty, you maybe could have just kept adding until you got to 217 and figured out how many terms, but you can understand why if it took you to the 43rd term, you're not going to want to do it that way. So that n was rather small, but these are the ones that you're going to come up with quadratics. The other two, 5 and 6, those were, is that what it is, 5 and 6? Those were easier because they were, the quadratic you got was fairly easily factored and you could get the answer that way. Okay, any other questions on this one or any of the others?
What would be under the radical when you do quadratics there? 29 squared minus 4 times 3
4 times 3 times negative 434.
Okay, because I got a square root of 6,049, which doesn't seem right.
Oh, you know what? Something's wrong here.
Yeah, I got the same thing, and I ended up with 8 as my final answer.
Wait a minute, I did something wrong because I should have 41n on this. Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay. All right. When we went, this is tricky. This is why it's wrong. Okay. And my bad. Okay. When we put 1 in, when we put 5 in, did you see how we generated this series? Yes? This is what's wrong here. This is that. But to get the nth term, we actually created this series. So a sub 1 is 22, but a sub n, this is my fault, you have to redo because a sub n now of this series is not 7 plus 3n, it's 22 plus 3 times n minus 1. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I go to find the nth term of this, it's 22 plus 3 times n minus 1. So I'm actually having to find the nth term of this. So it's different than if this, because this is not a 1. So this is going to give me 3n plus 19. And that's what I have to put in here. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. So that comes out to be 3n plus 41. So this is going to be 41n. And when you do that, you're going to end up with 7 then. Try that one. So do you understand what I'm saying? This, because this is not 1, the first term I'm generating, okay, if I use this, the first term would be 10, and that's not what I want. Okay, so this is the first term, so I have to actually use this as my new series, and therefore the nth term is not 7 plus 3n, it's going to be 3n plus 19. So that was the tricky part on that one. The other ones that didn't happen in because I started with 1. So this sequence would be the same as if you started, if you started with 1 there on that. So that was very tricky. I'm sorry, I messed that up the first time here.
This is A.
Yeah.
In the parentheses, would
Mhm.
you still need the 22, or would it just be 3n plus 19?
No, because remember, the formula is n times a sub 1, which in the series that it generates, a sub 1, the first term is 22, plus the a sub n. A sub n now in this series is 22 plus 3 times the quantity n minus 1. So this is your a sub 1, this is your a sub n in the formula for the sum. So you do need both of them. You need the 22 and then you need the nth term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that was a tricky one. You have to actually look at the new series that's generated when you start putting 5, then 6, then 7, etc. So 22 becomes the first term in that one. Okay. Any other questions? So I am going to post the answer key to that one later today, and you can check out the rest of them. Hopefully the rest of them weren't too bad. Okay. Does anybody have any other questions on anything happening? Oh, so there's an assignment Tuesday, and then there's the assignment today, and then there's the assignment Tuesday. That's a 2-day assignment. You get 2 days to work on it. I got to look at that because the one thing we're not going to get to is how to find the sum of a geometric series. So I think there's a couple on the back that you're not going to be able to do on that because you don't know the formulas for the sum. So I'll reach out to you via email and let you know which problems that you won't have to do on that. Does that make sense? And then Thursday will be the quest. And, again, I'm just asking you to do your own work. Use your notes if you want. I don't care about that. Use your notes. Just don't use outside sources or any other people. And then Friday, I don't know if this is going to be a conflict with other classes, but do you think we could just do a goodbye Zoom on Friday? Guys, I'd like to do that just to say goodbye. So I'll send you, because I don't have those we weren't meeting on Fridays, I'll send you a link to the Zooms on Friday, okay? Either the 9 or there's another one at 12:30 that you can join.
Okie dokie.
Is that okay? Because I'd like to have one last time to say goodbye to you guys. I really feel bad that we have no in-person goodbye to say, but it is what it is. It's a crazy, crazy year, 2020.
We'll be back next year.
It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know, but I don't know. I think they'll try their hardest to get us back in person part of the time, but I think it's all going to depend on what goes on with this virus and the numbers and what they're seeing, and it'll be interesting. So we'll take care. All right, so if you have any other questions, you can stay on. If not, I'm going to let you guys get going. And, as always, if you have any issues, email me. And good luck. Okay, last week, guys, you got this. You got this. Okay? So I'll see you Wednesday, and Wednesday I'll answer any questions you have on anything, and we'll be good. Okay? So you can log off, say goodbye. If you have a question, stay on. Have a good week, boys. Last one.
Bye, Mrs. A.
Bye.
Hey, Mrs. Antonelli.
Yes.
I I just wanted to quickly talk about scheduling and all for next year.
Yes.
What comes after pre-calc?
Next year, you'll be taking honors pre-calc. And then the following year, you're pretty good. So most likely you would be in BC Calc as a junior, and then multivariate calculus in your senior year.
Is there any, do you think it would be a horrible idea to try and skip pre-calc? Because I have a friend who's done the whole thing, and he said it's kind of a lot of kind of repeat.
Who was his teacher?
I don't know. He's at
Oh.
Avon.
Oh, he's in Avon.
So
Well,
Ignatius could be different. I just know the curriculums
I
often
think
line up.
Ignatius is different because there's a lot of things we don't cover in Honors Algebra 2 that maybe some other schools do. Like you have done no trigonometry. We skipped
That
the
is true. That is weird.
whole I mean, we used to cover it.
Did they do any in geometry?
Well, just right triangle trigonometry, but there's the whole thing of trig beyond right triangle trig, the whole thing with
Okay.
graphing, you know, your wave curves, your sine
Yeah.
and cosine curves. We used to spend a whole quarter on that in junior year. And then what was happening is that was never on the SAT or the ACT. They never had like that kind of stuff on there, but they were putting all this stuff on logarithms and sequences and series. So we kicked trigonometry to senior year to pre-calc so we could cover the sequences and series and logarithms and all
For
that
the
stuff in
SAT.
junior year because kids were seeing that on their SATs. So, you know, that's a whole thing you're going to miss. I mean, that's in there. And then there's a whole lot of other, there's more families of graphs that you're going to, function families that you're going to
Okay.
do. And you start getting into a lot of pre-calc, more pre-calc like limits and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of that. So that would be I mean, you would never be able to skip it. You'd have to probably try to find a pre-calc course somewhere.
Like online or.
Yeah, and then you'd have to take, Mr. Sable would make you take a test, a mastery exam. I really don't think it's because of the depth and the nature of the material
Okay.
that would be a good idea. And you know,
Alrighty.
the other thing is, Alex, honestly, if you get beyond multivariate calculus, then you're going to be taking an online course somewhere through a college. And I don't know how much fun that would be. Or
Didn't they create something after that? Because there
it
were
is,
kids who
but
were
it's
taking.
I'm pretty sure it's an online course.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Mr. Barker supervises it, but I really think it's just not the ideal. And I
Alright.
mean, just getting out of high school with BC Calc is going to set you up for whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I
Thank
think,
you so much.
yeah, I think you're in a good groove. I think the most important thing is to just really do really well in all the, you know, the courses you're going to take. So
All right.
I think you'll be good. And I think our pre-calc, honors pre-calc teachers like Mrs. Reagan and Mr. Rowell approach it from a much more problem-based thing. So I think it's a little more challenging. It's going to be a good class for you.
Cool. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Okay. Have a good week, Alex. See you on Wednesday. Okay.
See you then. We'll do.
All right. Bye-bye.